Hello and welcome back to another episode of Supercoach Insider. My name is Ben. This is my team reveal. Obviously, yet to be finalised, as always, even though the bounce is only an hour and 10 minutes away. I don't even know what I'm doing on my side, everyone. Also, quick shout out, SC Insider 100. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Also, thank you for the 1,000 subs. Like, subscribe, get amongst that business. I appreciate you as always. This is my side at the moment, and I've been tossing and turning a little bit. Basically, Hewitt, and I'm looking at, can I get Hewitt and a McRae, or do I go a Crisp and a Cripps, the two C's? Gone. So pretty much here's where I'm looking at my side at the moment. I've gone 4 deep in defense. I'm trying to look at 4 premiums that should be top 6. Because if you're going to go 4 premiums in defense, I don't want to kind of go halfway. And that's where Hewitt's kind of been umming and ahhing a bit for me. I think he'll go 90 to 100, but then I don't know if it's going to be good enough to make that cut. Now, especially when there's probably about 10 midfielders already going 100 plus. If McGrath and Pendles end up getting DPP and coming back there, I think it might even be harder to get closer to that top 10. So that's my consideration. Now, apparently news in, Lloyd, some whispers are Lloyd might even be a close contact or have COVID. I'm not sure what's happening there. Sick dog as well. So the anarchy is already happening a little bit. West Coast lost Tim Kelly, so it looks like there's a little bit around at West Coast, a little bit around at Sydney. So Warner as well for Sydney, I think, is now same boat. And also Hawthorn. So that's 3 clubs. So I suggest maybe not starting too many premiums from those clubs if possible, just because they might play now, but in a couple of weeks' time or something, they might become a close contact or actually be in isolation with COVID. So that's what I'm thinking. Kind of sucks. Aaron Hall's now back and in 1% of sides, which is actually tempting. If Lloyd doesn't play, you'll probably find me probably going Hewitt because fuck Aaron Hall, Chris. You heard me. But he is tempting at 1%. Aaron Hall played. Apparently he's been cleared to play. The GM, general manager, said that he's putting his hand up for selection, which means Aaron Hall is in the mix, everyone. So, yeah, I don't know how I feel about it, but they do play a limp noodle West Coast and Hawthorn. So Hawthorn first, who don't have anyone, and then West Coast. Aaron Hall could literally go 120, 130 the first 2 weeks and be 600k by round 3. So it does tempt me, which sucks. So there we go. The 2 main things with my side at the moment is I'm kind of looking to fade McRae and Gawn, 2 very highly owned players. And part of the strategy is I'm kind of looking for a bit of value. I have tried to get Steele, McRae, and Miller into my side with Lockie Neal, with Real, with Berry. I kind of lose Horn Francis in that, which I was okay with. But again, North play a depleted Hawks and a depleted West Coast the first 2 weeks, which means Horn Francis probably does extremely well those first 2 weeks. So now I kind of want him in my side a little bit more. Ward apparently had a little bit of calf soreness, plus again with COVID around at Hawthorn. I'm kind of a little bit skeptical, 180,000, but at least if he's on your bench, it's not bad. If he's on field and you're relying on other rookies, then it's probably a little bit harder. But it does mean if he stays clean and healthy and stays away from all that COVIDness, then he could actually get a little bit more game time and possibly some better roles. And we know all he needs is 1 good game of a midfield, and he racked up like 120 or quite a lot of Supercoach for not much game time. So I do like him as a bench option at this point in time. So pretty much my whole strategy has been looking for value and flexibility. Because if some one of these players gets COVID, then at least I haven't lost 70, 80, 100,000 K on too many premiums. So Gawn and McRae, I'm hoping that either their form starts slow. Ruckman sometimes start a little slower. McRae, I'm hoping maybe Treloar and Dunkley get a bit more of the roost and he starts a little slower. McRae only went over 150 once last year, so I'm kind of hoping he starts a bit slower. The Blues have a little bit of a softer run to start. I know the Dogs do as well, but I'm hoping Cripps has a larger ceiling. Has gone, I think, not last year, obviously, because he was injured, but the 3 years prior, I think he was the number 1 for scores over 150. So if he has backed himself up into the old Cripps, Michael Voss newly instated, then I'm thinking Cripps might actually have a large enough ceiling to kind of push and get me close enough to McRae. And then I could still get in McRae at 600,000 or something along those lines. So I still expect to probably pay for McRae and Gawn at this point and prioritise them fairly early if I can. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. So Crispy's been in and out of my side a little bit for Hewitt because that 170,000 it means a lot. And Crisp Also might just go and average you between, he chips away between the 80 and 120 scores every week, and he plays every week, which is awesome. But then I'm like, well, can Hewitt get close enough in the Blues sort of soft run early on? Can he get close enough that 170,000 can actually do me some good? Does that mean I could possibly go Cripps into a McRae and then use that extra VCC option, which could be beneficial if you're losing players? And the other one for me, Gawn, I don't know, like English has a pretty soft run, so I'll see if I can bring up... AFL would help if I actually typed it properly. So they have a fairly soft run early on as well. So when we have a look at the matches, so as far as rucks go, so by club, by Western Bulldogs, Gawn's obviously first up, and then he has Pitney, Hickey, Nankervis, Cherry, who I think is number 1. We'll find out tomorrow night as far as how that goes. Rob's okay, Draper, Shaw, Lysette, Grundy, Witts, and Nick Nat is probably the harder one. But then even then after that, you've got Geelong, you've got Giants, you've got Hawks, Brisbane, back to Sydney there. So I think it's one of those ones where I think English will actually do quite well. Could bunny up a few sides, particularly some of these other weaker sides here on that run here, North, Adelaide, etc. He could get on the end of a couple. And the reason I like English, number 1 is 10%. I think he can get close enough to the top 6 in the forward line. It doesn't look like Fife and Danger are going to be forwards because they're playing pure mid, which kind of opens up, makes it a little bit easier now to try and pick a player that might go 95, 100 in that forward line. And he's starting more quarters than I realised. I think previously Steph Martin would start ruck and then he would go off and then English would float in. Whereas at the moment, English has been starting in the centre square. So each quarter, there's at least another 4 per game. He looks fit. He's getting his hands on the ball. He's connecting up well. He kicks really well. And I'm not sure I trust Steph that much. So I think English, for me, goes 95 to 100. And with all the COVID stuff going on as well, you don't want to have one of these ruckmen out for a week and then you trade to a shitter ruckman. I quite like that flexibility. And for me, this is how the team's going to work. So round 1, obviously, Bruce doesn't play. So there's my loophole option. Tuke Miller, definitely going captain this week. Steele VC for me. Tuke against the West Coast, I think it's 140 plus. I'm taking him to the bank. And actually have a sneaky bet with a mate. Real and Tuke Miller combined for under 300 Supercoach points, and I win. And even then I was tempted not to take it because it's one of those funny ones where both of those boys could go massive and hurt big time. So that's why they're both starting in my side. And then basically after that round, though, Bruce then comes in. All of a sudden, my team looks much better as far as flexibility goes. So English would then come in. Rochelle's my swing person who I hopefully will be able to swing between the forward and midfield, depending on rookies. So I am looking at McKenty might actually move up there. And all of a sudden, I feel much better about my side as far as balance goes. Bruce, in my opinion, will probably out-average Rochelle, out-average Hinge, and those other players. So that's why I'm kind of liking Bruce there. He did quite a lot for them. As a ruck and a forward, he was getting marks up the ground. He's also, they look for him and he's a big presence. So I think he goes, he could go 80 plus, but have some big games in there as well, go 100 plus for some, really spike his cash. He's only about 15% owned, probably even less by that point. So I quite like having this point of difference kind of cash cow sitting there, and it frees up English if that works out. Worst case scenario is it doesn't work out. English goes into the ruck there. Rochelle comes forward. And Bruce, I can fob off for someone that I might have missed, downgrade to a rookie or something along those lines, and I have a little bit of time for that anyway. So that's what I'm kind of considering. Now, if I can get McRae into my side, I would. I'd probably go McRae in there as soon as I can. I have tinkered with a few different things, and I'm still kind of thinking about exactly what I want at this point in time. So as you can see, I'm not completely settled. So that's where I'm kind of sitting at the moment. Cherry, I think, number 1 at North. Brody, it does concern me. I have had Brody in, I've had McGovern in, so McGovern Jr. in my side, and I'll probably wait and see on Brody. I think he's a similar price to kind of Charlie Curnow, so if he pops off and Brody doesn't, then that's fair enough. Or basically he doesn't work out, then if Bruce is, that's all fine. Rochelle can come on the field, I can bugger off Brody to someone else and kind of sort of work around it that way, but this is kind of how I'm looking. I'm trying to last 6 rounds to then get Dacos to help me out in defense. A little bit vulnerable. Don't go anything less than 4 is my opinion, unless you've got a Chapman or someone like that. I think Miller was playing as well, so I don't mind him in there somewhere. Hinge, I think he's got probably good enough potential. And again, I'm just hoping for 6 rounds. Dacos goes back there. Things start to look a bit better. If I need to, I'll upgrade early in defense to kind of solidify that even a little bit more and sort of look for that. So that's pretty much how I'm looking, everyone. Grundy for me, Dunkley, Butters, Cornelio, pretty standard for most of the team, except I think the big difference is, me fading those 2 big players and kind of working around them. Again, I think Gawn probably averages maybe 115. So for me, I think he's overpriced. I'm hoping a Ruckman will start slow. I'm hoping he doesn't hurt me. I'm also worried, when Gawn makes if they get closer towards the finals, if they have top 2 locked up, then basically Jackson will play more Ruck. They're not going to rest Gawn because he's captain, so they might just sit him forward and really kill his scoring just to kind of coast through and get him fresh because they are playing finals, or they should be playing finals. So I think it's going to make it deceptive, possibly, if they're kind of coasting for the last bit. They're not going to bust and break Gawny going into the finals. It makes no sense. Same could be said for, Grundy as well, I guess. If they're bottom 4, then they might not bust and break him. But for me, it's one of those things. You have to sacrifice somewhere, and it's got to be a premium. I'm big on Steele. I'm big on Took. I'm big on Neil. Cripps I could give or take if I can get McRae in. And that's pretty much where I'm at. So I've even asked Swizz, Chris, and I was like, well, Crisp. So Crisp, Cripps, and Rochelle, or McRae, Hewitt, and a cheaper rookie. So considering that I would be expecting to swing English into this forward line, then realistically I would only have to play McEntee for 1 round, and then after that it doesn't happen. But I think Rochelle is a good option, and I do like having the additional player on the bench there, so it does make it better. The other thing I have considered is with Ward's calf issue and possible COVID lingering, Rochelle could go up into the midfield as a bit of a swing to kind of cover a gap between my midfield and my forward line. And then that way it should actually provide me a little bit of stability. But the issue is that I'm not really that happy with too many of the forwards, to be honest. I could go and get a Dixon in and just hope that with all the West Coast drama going along and that he might be able to keep playing games. So how that would look. So pretty much the ones that are vulnerable for me would be Crisp out. Again, I think Gawn I might just fade and just wait and see. I do like Gawn. I might get Gawn, but I can wait. And I think he has a few hard opponents anyway in that first sort of 6 to 8 rounds. So I'm hoping he just kind of starts a little slower. Like any other premium, you're just kind of hoping for a little bit of luck to fade one of the favourites. So how that would look would be then Rochelle would go out. I'll get rid of Ward in here. Rochelle can come bang up and into that midfield mix. McRae, my boy. I don't know why I'm calling him my boy. I can't afford him. Who am I missing? Crisp. Get out of there, Crisp. Go in here for the old Dixie. Dixie Normus. Come on in there, Hugh Dixon. Come on in. McRae can then come back into my side. And I've got 411,000. So then all of a sudden, Hewitt can make the mix. And the difference in combination there is basically McRae, you assume, would be top 6 or definitely top 8. Hewitt hopefully gets close enough to the top 10, or worst case scenario, I trade him around the buys and try and upgrade around then if it doesn't work out. English, I'm still banking on being around that top 6 to give me some flexibility and then work out who the top ruck is to go with Grundy, and then I can then target that person to bring in nice and swift. And if it's Gawn, then I'll bring in Gawn. If it's Darcy and he's absolutely banging off, then I might bring in Darcy. Or if someone surprises us, like Riley O'Brien just starts banging out consistent 120s, then I can always look at that. So it just gives me flexibility so I'm not completely tied and handcuffed in. And then that's how my team would look. Again, the only issue is I'd have to play one of these other crappy rooks for the first week, but I think it counterbalances with me having Took and Rail in my side. I think they go so well that it kind of helps balance my team out a little bit for at least the damage on week 1 by playing the extra rookie. After that, Bruce definitely will do much better for those guys. Oh, actually, hang on. Oh, Rochelle. Oh, hang on. No, I can play Rochelle on field. Look at this. See, problem solving as I go. Look at this. Rochelle, bang, mate, you can get on field. Switch you. English, mate, you're over here. Switch with Hayes. Oh, no, I don't want to trade him. And pretty much it gives you some flexibility. I think I might like this side even more. See, just tinker with your team. Figure it out. Switch with English. All right, let me get this final team ready for you. Switch English over here. Put the emergency on him once I'm done. So save my team. Alrighty, English emergency. So I've got a loophole in Bruce, who I'll probably have to put captain on. Steele there. McRae, Steele, Miller, Neal, Rowell, Berry, Horn-Francis, Dacos. I've got Rochelle, who I can swing back into that midfield mix as cover once English comes back into that fold. And I think I'm pretty good. If Lloyd is out with COVID or something, I've got to check that news there. Basically, I'll probably make him into a crisp or even an Aaron Hall. If I can live with myself, I might do it. But again, 1% owned, maybe 5% if it does get named that he is playing. I imagine that, again, the risk is there. If he does another hammy, then bang, you're the only one on that ship that's hurting. So there is a risk involved, but obviously there's risk-reward because Aaron Hall could absolutely tear up, even though it pains me to say it. He could. So he is tempting there. Let me know what you think. Do you like the first way I started, or do you like the fact that now I've gone, okay, well, again, there's always compromise. So at least this way, it's like, right, well, I have Neil, so at least I have another VC and a C option. Hewitt hopefully chips away close enough at that. And basically now all I'm doing is fading, two main ownerships. One being Ward. Now, if Ward does really well and Horn-Francis doesn't, then I can easily fix that up. Same thing with Bruce. If Bruce doesn't do well, then I can just go from Bruce to Ward and then put English back into that midfield mix. Rochelle comes forward, Ward goes into the midfield, and then everything's fine again. So I think there is that little bit of flexibility to try and make some corrections. I still believe Bruce will out-average Rochelle and McCartan and Hinge and be one of the best rookies, cash cows that we can have. And there's not many people that have him, so I am pretty keen on that, able to see how it at least goes. Keen on the flexibility. I think I like this more. I think I'm going to keep it this way. Pending team announcements tomorrow, so I think I might keep it this way. If Lloyd's out, I can change him to Crisp or Hall. Otherwise, everyone else I'm pretty happy. Hewitt, I'll see how he goes. They have a pretty soft draw. I do like Cripps, but anyway, let me know what you think. I'm going to see how you go. I'm going to pay attention to the comments in the next 50 minutes. See if you can swing my votes. I'm going to upload this now. Help me, help you. Talk to me. Talk to you later. Bye.